The LEGO Smart Brick is meant to be LEGO's newest and greatest innovation, but ultimately it has left many fans wondering why. In today's video, I aim to fix what I believe is the biggest problem with the LEGO Smart Play sets. For me, the root problem of the Smart Brick is not the Smart Brick itself, but the sets it comes in. Most, if not all of them, are vastly overpriced, and they also don't look that good. I mean, the best one for me that stands on its own is probably the Smart Play ATSD, but even that one has a huge gaping hole in the back of it. So clearly, the sets aren't good. Honestly, I really enjoy the functionality of the Smart Brick. I mean, I think it's got a lot of fun uses, and it's not really that bad. But the sets that it comes in really aren't good. And I think that's a huge reason that the Smart Brick just didn't sell well, because the sets were so bad and overpriced. So today I'm fixing the Smart Play X-Wing. Now this one seemed to be the sort of flagship set. There were tons of images of it, and they made a ginormous one in Las Vegas. So clearly it's supposed to be the flagship set. And that's why this is the one that I modified. I also love the X-Wing, so of course I wanted to fix this set so I could truly enjoy it. And now it's one of my favorite X-Wings, just with the modifications I made. Because really, it wasn't built at a bad scale, it was just built poorly. We'll start at the front. Now the nose is pretty much exactly the same. Actually, I think it is exactly the same. The sticker is cut off right at the end, and that's not because I wanted less of this weird mismatched gray color, but because I did have plans on changing the nose, but ultimately it didn't work out. So here it is like this. Now this nose is actually 2 studs shorter than on the original set. I shortened it just because I thought it looked better. I thought the nose was really fat and weird, and it just didn't look good. It also fits better with the scale, and it meant that I didn't have to really change the size of the wings, because the wings look really good, honestly, next to the rest of the ship. I mean, I've seen people change the size and the shapes of the wings, but I think this works at the scale it's in. And honestly, I really like this scale. Moving further back, we have a much, much better cockpit. Originally, I didn't think that old cockpit was bad, and I didn't think that was the reason it was bad. But once I switched over to this cockpit, I realized it was definitely the reason it looked bad. And this isn't really connected in a conventional way. It's really easy to take off because it just uses clips. I could find the old bricks with the hinges. Heck, I do have one because I have the old 1999 X-Wing, but I don't want to steal that off of the 1999 X-Wing, so I'm not going to do that. You can't make me. On the interior, you can see there's way more details than before, and I mean, it just blows the old cockpit out of the water. The only issue is it is pretty hard to fit minifigures in there, and we'll go through the minifigures later, but it definitely doesn't have a lot of room, and it's something I want to try to improve. It's just there's a big issue with the minifigure's head colliding with the back wall here. Moving further back, we have the droid port, which is, I mean, it's not really that different. Of course, the whole functionality is completely different. There's no pushing this forward, so the droid actually stays stationary in the model. Now we move even further back, and you can see there's tons of nice greebling on the top, and this whole thing lifts off to show the Smart Brick holder, which we'll get into a little bit later after we finish off the rest of the X-Wing. The wings, of course, are pretty much unchanged. I just added slopes to the back to complete the whole look right here, and it just gives it a nice finish. Before, it was a little weird. There was a gap, and it just didn't look good. I think the gap is actually up here. I don't remember, but it looked weird, and so I just had to fix it. And then on the underside, I didn't change the landing gear up too much. It's pretty much the same. I just added these studs here, and it is a bit lower down because I added like proper functioning landing gear right here. I also don't remember what they had for landing gear before, but I can guarantee it wasn't that good because I had to change it. So yeah, I mean, this is the back of the X-Wing. I mean, once again, it's way better than before. It's actually complete all the way around. It's clean. There's not, there's no gaps or anything. I tried to minimize all that as much as possible because that was a huge problem with the old one. Is that it was just had a huge hole in the middle of it, and it looked really bad. The button was on top, of course, and you would just push down. I don't really remember that much what the old X-Wing looked like anymore because I haven't had it built in a long time. This has been just kind of sitting around for a couple of months now because the Smart Brick came out, January 1st, but I got this set in March. So it's been sitting around for about a month and a half. Actually, almost 2 months. But let's slide the Smart Brick in and see the functionality. Hold on. Maybe my Smart Brick's dead. Oh no, it's alive. I don't know. There we go. So now you can kind of... Oh my gosh. Okay, the nose is also a bit weak, on the weaker side, but you can hear it in there. You can hear it. I don't know how well it's picking up on camera. I do have it on the medium volume because one lie I've heard about the Smart Brick is that it's too quiet. It is not too quiet. It is really, really loud, and I had to turn it down to medium just because how loud it was. But you can kind of see there's a little bit of flashing on the inside. It kind of flashes around. But, you got all the same functions you had before. Unfortunately, the minifigures can't, interact with the Smart Brick because I don't have the Smart minifigures in here. Although, I don't think that's really that bad because whenever you went like this, the minifigures would, scream or whatever, and it was kind of annoying. So I'm glad that that none of that's there anymore. Now, in the back, you probably saw this before. This is the shooting functionality of the model. This sticker on top is supposed to represent when you're not shooting, and then you just turn this, and then you can shoot. Just like that. This is the best way I could get it to work because I needed the clearance of the hollow stud inside of there for the Technic pin, so I couldn't have used quarter tiles to get that looking better. But yeah, it works perfectly fine, and you can probably hear it shooting away. So whenever you want to shoot, you just do that. If it wants to shoot, sometimes it doesn't always pick it up. I don't know why, but there it is. I mean, it's got all the functionality you would want in the Smart Brick X-Wing. Personally, I found the talking Smart figures a little annoying while I was flying it around. So this is much better. Really just a big improvement over its functionality. Unfortunately, you can't use the fuel or the repair functionalities of the Smart Brick, but you could build that into the system if you wanted to. I just have a simple red target and gray neutral, and also I figured out why it wasn't working because I had this on sideways. So it wasn't a problem with the Smart Brick, it was a problem with me. Anyway, that's the Smart Brick X-Wing. As you could probably tell, it's a whole lot better than the original. It looks like an X-Wing. The proportions feel really nice. The slopes look really nice up here. I'm just so much happier with what this is compared to what they had before. I might modify more and I might show more. I do have the TIE Fighter and I do have the AT-ST, but who knows? Anyway, let's get on to the minifigures. These are really just the last kind of side note because they're nothing really that important. It's just the UCS Luke Skywalker, although he does have the new head from the set because I just kind of liked it. But you can see it's the one with all those details, all those beautiful details. And then the R2 unit, R2-D2, of course, with that lovely back printing. Not a huge block on his back. He actually looks good. He fits in there nice and well. You can put the Smart Play R2-D2 in there, and he will react to the Smart Brick, but you don't have to. And honestly, I wouldn't, so, I don't take it from me, but hey, you can see when you put him in there, he is definitely squished, but, it gets the job done. it's kind of hard to fit them in there altogether, and I'm not sure yet how I'm going to fix that issue, if I'm going to fix that issue. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, like I said, I do like the Smart Brick. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is. I get that it isn't quite as creative as Lego is supposed to be, and it isn't really reminiscent of what Lego should be, but I still think that it functions really well, and it's just a fun play feature. I mean, we've had stuff like this since, 1985? I have a set from 1985 that has lights and sounds, and so I don't think it's really that far off from that. And I don't think it's really something that people should be saying is just a non-Lego thing, because Lego lights and sounds has been a thing for ages, and this is just a step up with more interactability. So instead of just pressing a button and sirens going off, now you can turn a dial and your X-Wing will shoot, and it's got dynamic flight sounds rather than just constant beeping like on the 1985 lights and sound system. So I don't think it's really that far off from what Lego has been in the past, and ultimately I just like it, and that's the big thing. I mean, you can love it, you can hate it, I don't care. I like it, and I want it to do well, but unfortunately, how Lego has handled it, it's not going to do well, and that's just a fact. The sets are not good, the prices are abysmal, but the brick inside is what really matters, and that is my favorite part. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's definitely very different than my past videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.